Welcome to the Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Period. And today we are in the virtual studio with my very special guest. He's a legend, very known around here in the city of Memphis. But before I bring him on, you know how I do. I go ahead and kick that show off.
Attention.
Spit to the beat. Podcast. It's all about inside the music industry.
Nobody do it better.
Also, let me let you know that you can catch video clips of my show episodes on Facebook at Stacey Beat Unstoppable per year and Stacey Spit to the Beat per year. Don't forget to go on my YouTube channel at Spit to the Beat and catch the full video episode of this and all my latest episodes on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. I really would appreciate it. Thank you so much. But today I am honored and I'm privileged to be joined by a very special guest, no stranger to the city of Memphis and nationwide. Been singing for a long time in the music industry, the ins and the outs. So he's here today to share with us on Spit to the Beat his life journey in the music industry. So I will bring him on right now, my guest, brother Larry Springfield. Hey.
How you doing, everybody? This is Larry. Pleasure to be
Yes,
here, man.
sir.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah. We want to dive right into it. Well, first let me ask, how's your day going, man?
Yeah, I mean, it could be better. I mean, I got a couple other things that I do, and it's not as good as music, but I mean, it's up and down. So I'm all right right now.
So
I'm all right.
music still your sanctuary, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's where I find solace, man. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive right into it. One of my first questions. Tell a little bit about yourself to our audience.
Well, born and raised in Memphis, born in North Memphis. Actually, that's why I guess I get all of my street cred, I would say, Smoky City. But I started singing, man, professionally. I would say at about 17. I was in this contest. Actually, your significant other introduced me to this place called Club Royale on Beale Street, and I started out singing there in a talent show. And from there, people came to see me from record companies and shows like Star Search. And so from that particular restaurant or from the shows that I did there, I got put on to the professional scene on Beale Street and had a couple of record deals with Motown and Taboo A&M under Clarence Avant. And so basically, that's how I got my start in music professionally, as far as doing records are concerned. But as far as just performing, Beale Street was my jumping off point.
What age did you start professionally?
Man, 17. I mean, I was right out of high school, going, doing, singing, like I said, in these different talent shows and things of that nature. And from there, it happened. But I was singing, of course, when I was younger. I actually thought I was going to play football. So I called myself going to go to college and play professional football. I thought I was a prototypical wide receiver, but I mean, life gave me, God had other, I guess, aspirations for me, or he led me in a different direction. So the singing thing was always there. So I guess it was a kind of a crutch. And I didn't know that it would propel me into the things that I've done so far. Because like I said, I was looking at a totally different career. But luckily, I had that thing to lean on. So, yeah.
What inspired you to become a singer or a songwriter, man? I mean, you started at 17, but what triggered that moment?
I guess first of all, I just love music, period. Basically any genre of music. I mean, I always loved it. Like I said, it was natural. It was innate. Singing is an innate thing that's in my family. So people, my uncles, my mom can sing, and my father sang. So it was a part of my DNA. So it was relatively easy. And sometimes you take those things for granted. But anyway, so I always liked music. And then when I found that I could actually make money and make a living at it, that's when I started to really pay attention. And I started writing with people. I went to Los Angeles. With my record deal here, because I got a record deal. There was a small company that came to see me who that was actually located in Memphis, and I learned a lot of business from that record company. It was called Mega Jam, and this guy by the name of Terry Starks was the CEO. He gave me my first record deal, and from there we signed to Taboo A&M, and then we signed to Motown. But Terry was the person that showed me the ins and outs of the music, the business side of it. Because when you're a singer, oftentimes you know you want to sing, you want to make money at it, but how do you make money? What are the mechanisms to make money? Like if you're a writer, publishing and your writers, that type of thing. Points for being an artist, that type of a percentage of the record that you get. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal? Things of that nature. And oftentimes people fall into these things where they want to be stars rather than they want to be a part of the music business. I learned at an early age, man, that I want to be behind the scene. I'd rather be behind the scene and be silent and make the money than be out front and broke. I mean, there are so many instances where you hear, like when I was really into the music back in the day, like the late 80s, early 90s, like when you would hear stuff like when TLC and Guy and those guys were broke after making millions and millions of records. You're like, okay, how can it happen? And it depends on the structure of the deal and where they are in the deal that will allow you to prosper or whether you be broke. So I learned that through Terry and all of the things that we did there in Mega Jam. So.
Oh man, that's nice. That's wonderful. And basically that's what my podcast is definitely it's all about.
Right.
Bringing on guests to teach up and coming artists the behind the scene as well. They always want to get on the stage, get in front of the mic, but you need to know both sides of it. And what you just shared is so powerful that it will ring a long way with my audience and those upcoming artists. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's all good. I mean, I like telling people about the ins and outs of the music industry because people is glorified. And the one thing that you get is a lot of eyes on you. That camera, that eye, kind of makes it blows. It gives people a grandiose persona when it really they should take their time and because you can be enamored, like I said, by your coming up or a lot of people seeing you, but you got to ask yourself, well, do you want to be popular or do you want to be rich or do you want to make money? And I would tell people all the time, I'd rather be paid than you to know who I am. Anonymity is something that is, not, it doesn't get enough praise. I'd rather be anonymous and be able to walk down the street and spend the money that I have in the bank rather than everybody know who I am and be broke. Because I mean, there's a thing to go along with that as well. So I'd rather be behind the scene.
Definitely. Hey, the whole time we're gonna come back and talk a little bit more about, modern day music and with all this digital technology, okay?
Oh my God, yeah. I'm here.
Hey, this is Stacey, aka Beat Unstoppable Per Year with Spit to the Beat podcast. Would you like to be my guest if you're a singer, songwriter, musician, producer, or promoter? Give me a call at 901-341-6777 or email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com. And we're back to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Per Year, and joining me in the virtual studio, a legend known all over the city of Memphis and nationwide, Mr. Larry Springfield. He's dropping on them nuggets already on my audience. So I hope y'all gonna be picking this up and getting this information. It's very valuable. Yeah. Hey man, we're back. We're talking about what you just talked about, the business aspect of the music industry. Now we're gonna talk about with the new digital platforms and streaming and all that stuff. I know you now have had a chance to, people don't know that before all that, now to experience this. How does the digital and the streaming and all that stuff plays a role into the music industry?
Man, I'm a dinosaur. And if I had the platforms that are out now, if we had that stuff back then, to a certain degree, you wouldn't need the record companies because right now you see that with the advent of TikTok and Instagram and all these things, people become popular without even really having to get out there and do a lot of marketing. With the click of a button, you can get exposure to to people that you wouldn't have had would have gotten the exposure to, because of, there are so many different lanes, so many different types of platforms, so much social media, that if you're halfway good, people see you, and sometimes that's kind of tricky. Let me take a step back. There are people who think they're stars because of these platforms, but you can look good and people can put you in the studio and you can sound good, but if you don't have the business acumen, and then have people who have a plan for you or plan for y'all, you still can fail. Like I said, it's cool being popular, but you'd rather be paid. But with this platform, man, there's so many ways. If you have a team of people who could take the social media along with the radio and along with the other methods of media, you can become a star quick. But you can jumpstart your stardom from these platforms, like these podcasts, and like I said, TikTok and Facebook and all these things.
Instagram, all that.
Instagram, yeah, because man, I mean there's just that you can touch people that you normally wouldn't. I mean, and then when you go viral and the advent of that, especially if you're good, let's say if you're a good looking person, that's going to get you the door, because people are going to want to look at it, and that's never going to change, no matter what era you're trying to do music in. But then if you have a great song, that trumps everything. Now, if that great song with a good-looking person on a platform like this can instantly shoot a person to stardom. So I think this is an aside. I think that the world, or R&B or soul music, is prime for something strong to hit it. If somebody can put all those things, if there's a culmination of TV, radio, all of these other platforms, if somebody can take advantage of that and be a one-stop shop and be able to push out artists through those things, I think that would be something. You don't need a record company to a certain degree, because you have all these other platforms. There are guys doing records on Mac computers. I mean, real records. I'm talking about hit records on something that costs you $1,200. Where when I was coming up, you go into a studio, an SSL board costs you about $300,000 to $500,000 just to record on that system. You know what I mean? But now you can do a record for $1,500 to $2,000. I'm talking about a record. So it's gotten easier. But the thing is finding the talent, getting those hits, and having your business, I guess, on point as well. But finding the hit, man, ain't nothing like a hit. You can't deny a hit. It may not. If you got a hit on the wrong person, then that's an issue. But a strong song stands the test of time. If you look at some of the things that happen, I'll give you, Dionne Warwick did a song in 1973. Then Luther Vandross did a song in 1980, and then somebody did the song in 2010. That's a hit. You know what I mean? So if you're looking for, if a song is, if it's a hit, no matter when it's done, it's going to be a great song. So you put that on the right person now, oh man, the world is your oyster. But it's just trying to find that culmination of things. Like I said, a kid become a TikTok star and make some money. But what if he have all of those things aligned? Oh my God, he'd be a superstar. So it's easier now. It really is easier.
You touched on a little bit about timeless music with Dionne Warwick, Luther Vandross, and people singing that same song and making a hit out of it. What was some of your musical influence and into your genre or your style?
Man, when I was younger, when I was a kid, if you'd asked me what I wanted to be, I would have told you I wanted to be Michael Jackson when I was growing up, because he was just that dude. But as I got older and started listening to music and started listening to not just the singer and how popular he was, but things that related to me and what's going on in my life, Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, and Stevie Wonder. More so Marvin Gaye, because I mean the way he delivered the lyrical content, the subject matter, in all facets of his life, he kind of spoke to me in the things that I was going through. So, and to give you an example, he wrote a song in 1973 that's still relevant today. And I mean, there things like that happen. But from What's Going On to Let's Get It On to Hear My Dear, I mean, all of that is like even though this man probably, I mean, he don't know who I am. Songs that were done on those records and on those albums reflected my life. And it probably was because I was a young Afro-American brother trying to do things in the music industry and going through the same thing that he was going through socially, economically, and personally. I was able to kind of really become attached to Marvin Gaye. So he's one of my favorite singers. And then Donny Hathaway, with the songs he was singing, and Stevie Wonder, man, their lives. I mean, their songs is just, I guess, a soundtrack to a certain degree of my life. So yeah, those are the inspired me. Go ahead.
Cool. What is there a rebirth for Larry?
Man, you know, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think there's a rebirth. I don't know how much time you got, but I don't know if there's a rebirth. But I'm really a stickler on trying to put other people on. I don't know if it's not been seen, but I'm working with some people, with some cats right now, and I think, like I said, I think that these platforms, along with other forms of media, if it's the right time and if you have the right project, you can manufacture the same that you can do right now what Motown did back in the early 60s and 70s. You can do that now, and it doesn't cost as much. But the one thing you have to have is artists and hit songs. There are a whole lot of, man, Memphis is prime. There are so many wonderful artists in Memphis that that you don't see because they're too busy trying to live and trying to navigate this social media thing, but then trying to pay their bills, you know, so they don't have time to concentrate on their craft. But then there's writers as well. But I think that if there was another platform, and if there are some people who, to get out of the way, because I'll say this, Stacey, just real quick, some people try to manipulate these artists and not give them what they're worth. I mean, that's in trap music or hip hop or, you know, drill or whatever you would call it. There are some people who take advantage of these kids who want to become stars, and they know that, because it happened to me and Stephanie and a couple other people. They knew that we wanted to be stars, so they kind of took advantage of us. They gave us, you know, crazy deal. I had a good deal, actually. For the time, it was a good deal. I got 20 points. If people don't know what the point system is, it's 100 points or 100% of a record. Oftentimes, the record company got a lion's share of that. So, but now with these platforms, these kids can own 100% they can have 100% equity of themselves if they play it right. Now, what I would do, I would partner with the person, and that's what I would want to do. I would partner with them, form, let's say, for instance, Larry Springfield LLC, and that's you and me as a partnership. I foot the bill, you the talent. I come in, I bring in writers or producers to write with you, whatever. We split that thing 50-50. Because remember, I'm doing all the marketing. I'm doing all of the, you know, writing, getting the people to write for you. If you're a writer, I'm not going to mess with none of your publishing, not going to mess with none of your writers, any of that. You can do whatever you want to do with that. But as far as trying to make you a star, that's what we're going to do together. It's not going to be me. It's going to be us together. So it's a partnership. And I think if you do, and we're working on how to get that to push that thing out. But I think if people work with these artists as partners, rather than getting them to sign a contract and you fulfilling everything, because on this end, you're going to go continue to work. I'm going to have the money, and we're going to make you a star. We're going to try to do what we can to make you a star. That way, it's a partnership. I can't pay you, give you an advance before you live. No, we're going to work as a unit. So when you start getting paid, I start getting paid. When I start getting paid, you start getting paid. And all we're going to do is recoup 50% of what it is. You don't have to bring nothing to the table but your talent. And that's what it should be, because if that person, it's like Coca-Cola. If you know you got the right item or the right thing to sell, somebody needs to push that. If nobody knows about Coke, if nobody knows about the syrup that goes in the Coca-Cola bottle, they're not going to buy it. But that thing is so wonderful that anybody would push it because they know how wonderful it is. So with me, if I can push an artist and get one or two songs in that person and it blows up, that helps both of us. But if nobody hears about you, if it's not for a guy like me who has the money to push that thing out there, nobody ever hear from you. So it has to be a work in concert. You do what you do and let the company do what it does. But we work as a partnership. So that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to get more people to do partnerships than sign themselves to a contract that doesn't work in their best interest. So, but go ahead.
Hey, hold tight one more time and take this one more break, okay?
All right, go ahead.
Hey, this is Stacy, aka Be Unstoppable Per You. Thank you for listening to our show, Spit to the Beat podcast. If you would like to be a sponsor, visit our website at www.spittothebeat.com and click the support tab and leave a donation. We really would appreciate it. Thank you again for listening. Also, catch every episode Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And we're back to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Per You. And joining me virtually in the studio, my guest, man, he's feeding us the knowledge behind the scenes, behind the mic, whatever, and then involving this new technology that is so available to artists now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. In dealing with these new artists today, and they so eager to be a star and get into the fame or everything, how do you save them as far as the frustration of being patient, understanding step by step?
Man, the key word is being patient. First of all, no. Let me step back, Stacey. You have to be self-aware. Know who you are. You need stage time as well. You need to be on stage because, again, being able to sing is one facet of being a star. You have to be able to communicate with people. You have to be able to know your audience. You have to be able to bring them into you, make them comfortable, make them feel relaxed. Because if you are a singer and they like you, they like what you look like, and they like how you sound, you got them. But at the same time, if you can make them feel at ease, if you can make them feel like they're your friend, you may have never met this person before in your life, but there's a degree of comfortability from talking to a person, and I can relate to this person. This is what they say to you. I can relate to him because it seemed like he was talking to me. You may be talking to the entire audience, but if you can make a person in that audience feel like you're talking directly to them, then you have done something. And that's a skill that's developed. Some people have it naturally, but you can develop that thing by being on stage, knowing what works for your voice. Because there are people who may like the way Beyonce sing, but hey, you sound like what's that girl's name? Toni Braxton. If you sound like Toni Braxton, let's not try to do a Whitney Houston song. So know what's right for you. Know what you're going to get house on. Like, for instance, if I tell you, since you sound like Toni Braxton, do a Anita Baker song, or do a Gladys Knight song, and then go get the song that everybody loves. Practice that thing. We want you to do your stuff, but practice on learning how to engage your audience in what they would like to hear from you by listening to those people that you kind of you don't sound like them, but your voice has that texture or that timbre or that range. So know who you are and what you are good at. Because trying to sing a Whitney Houston song when you sound like Toni Braxton, people are going to see through that. And then you can find that you'll probably get a better delivery of the songs that you choose when you choose people that sings in an alto or contralto in that vein. That's fine. You may sing Anita Baker or Whitney Houston and Beyonce in the shower, but when you get out and perform, when you got out here really perform those songs that fit your voice, and then know how to perform those songs. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. Don't just sing a song. Listen to the subject matter. Listen to what they're singing about. Find that in yourself and find that in you. And I don't mean to be philosophical, but you have to be able to go to that emotion, because when you're able to go to that emotion, and you'll give a better delivery, and people can feel that. See, so oftentimes people just sing because they like people riffing and things of that nature. But when you ask yourself, why does a Daryl Coley riff when he does? Because he's anointed. And a lot of people want to hear Daryl sing because they want to hear the tricks he can do. But when Daryl does a trick, it's not because he's doing a trick to show you his vocal acrobatics. He's showing you that he is anointed.
So God, he's singing, but he's telling the story.
He's telling the story. When he tells you that he's been healed,
right,
the anointing is moving through him. Or or Kim Burrell, the anointing is moving through those people. So my point is, even if you're singing a love song and it's from Burt Bacharach, listen to Burt Bacharach's lyrics, the subject matter. If you can feel it, then you can deliver that thing the right way. People are going to feel you. And I'm saying there's nothing like that. That's the second thing. First of all, being able to relate to the people that you're talking to, that you're singing to. Get them, bring them, lure them into you, and then be able to deliver the song that you're singing by knowing the song that you're singing. That's the second thing, and having great musicians behind you. There's nothing like being able to knowing how to control your musicians. Y'all too loud, bring it down. I need y'all up here. We got to give energy there. All that, just knowing how to control the stage, man.
Right.
It's golden. So that's on a performance side. But on the as far as making the music, you have to trust the person that you're in the studio with, your producer, your track maker, your beat maker, whoever it is. You got to trust that those people are able to give the best vocal performance out of you. And if you have track makers out here who are not vocal producers, track makers, beat makers, don't be offended. Hire yourself a vocal producer. Because if I'm a person and I know I can do vocals, I can be a vocal producer, I'm gonna go find. I got a friend of mine. His name is Jonathan Richmond. Great tracker, but he's also a great vocal producer. But if I want to produce a vocal on a person, I'm gonna get Jonathan to do the track because he is. I mean, I'm talking about Grammy winning. You know, these are Grammy winners. 6 July, a Grammy winner, do a track. They may have vocal producers to come in. Well, Jonathan don't need a vocal producer because he's a great vocal producer. But these people who do these tracks and these beats, you might have somebody to come in to give you be a vocal producer for you, so you can get the best out of your vocalist, male or female. So that's another thing, knowing what you're doing in the studio, and then having that hit. I mean, there's some hit makers in Memphis, man, but it's just they don't get a chance to display their talent because it's just that they're too busy trying to make a living. So, but anyway.
Yeah. And then they don't produce good music. It don't last.
A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. But I'm gonna tell you, man. I believe in. I've gone all over the country, man. I promise. I've been all over the country.
Right.
However, it's something about the style of music that the Memphis musicians we do. There's a couple of people I know that are bona fide stars in Memphis. I'm not gonna mention their names, but they are superstars here. However, to your point, sometimes they make bad music or they just don't have good business sense. And that's another thing. Not wanting to listen, because I'm not trying to control you, but I think I've been where a lot of people in the Memphis industry is. I've been where they are. So I think that I can give them advice. I don't want to control, just take the advice from being under Clarence Avant, from being under Lowell Salas and all these people back in the day who were hit makers. I think I can give you advice on how you should do, how to create a record. Now, how you put that record out is something else. All these different platforms, SoundCloud, what is it? Apple Play, Apple Music, getting on these people's playlists. There are a lot of people out here who are superstars with different playlists. If you can get the song on one of their playlists, there's a young lady right now, man. What's this chick? The Isley. What's the girl's name? The Isley chick, Alex Isley.
Alex.
Man, she is all okay. And I promise you, this is the last point I'm gonna make. This young lady works with so many different producers that if she came out today and did a tour, people are going to, because everybody knows who. I didn't know who she was, but she's on so many playlists with so many different producers because she's just getting herself out there. And now, and I never heard of her, but I talk to people and say, yeah, we heard of Alex. And why is that? You heard of her?
Go ahead.
My bad. No, but go ahead, bro. I mean, I'm talking a lot, so I mean, go ahead. I'm done. I don't want to.
No, you good.
Yeah, go ahead.
My last question to you, Doug, is really based off. Okay, what can we expect from Larry Springfield in 2024? We're closing out the year. You was talking earlier about you working with artists. So are you still gonna work with artists, get them moving in 2024? Or what's the plan?
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I want to introduce as many people as I can to the Memphis and the artists. I mean, the artists in Memphis. So I have Sugar Shack. I have my restaurant. And I don't want to do a talent show, but I want to do something to give these people, these guys, a way to be heard. And like I said, to get that stage time. So I'm open for doing something like that. But I'm also talking to a couple of people about doing that, trying to do that Motown thing, that new Motown. It's going to be something different, but I'm trying to do that Motown thing here. There's too many people in Memphis and abroad that need to be seen, but they just don't have the outlet. So I'm going to try to create that outlet for them.
Sounds good, man. Hey,
Yeah.
appreciate your time coming on the show. I know you're busy, man, so I ain't gonna hold you no
Amen.
longer. Man, you dropped so much of wealth of knowledge on this show.
I
You need
appreciate
to
it,
write a
Joe.
book. You need
Hey,
to.
man, listen,
You really need to write a music
listen,
book, man.
listen.
I'm serious.
But for Stacey, I'm really gonna try to make some things happen for people in Memphis, and I want to be fair and equitable. I want these kids to get a chance and it not cost them their life. So yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for joining us on Spit to the Beat podcast.
My
Hey,
pleasure,
man,
man.
hold tight as I wrap up the show. I appreciate you again.
Okay.
Hey, this is Stacy, aka Be Unstoppable Per You. Thank you for listening to our show, Spit to the Beat podcast.